How to fit the rear rack. If you want to add even more carrying space to your Bullitt, you can install the rear rack, which is compatible with whatever Bullitt you have. It sits over the rear wheel, enabling you to carry things on the front and rear of your bike. It is not designed for carrying children, as this will exceed the recommended weight limit. Note, as with many rear racks, you will need to cut the struts of the rack with a hacksaw to make them short enough. This video will show you how to do that and how to fit the rack to your Bullitt with the use of our new attachment kit and adapter. The tools you need to do this are a 3mm hex key, a 4mm hex key, a T25 Torx key, a 7mm spanner, an 8mm spanner, a 10mm spanner for non-e-bikes, a torque wrench for 3 Nm, with a 4mm and 5mm hex key and a T25 Torx key attachment, a metal file, a hacksaw, high-performance grease, a ruler and a rag. The parts you will need are the rack, which comes with 2 struts and their brackets. It also comes with 2 35mm bolts, 2 15mm bolts, 2 22mm black spacers and 4 lock nuts. You will also need the rear rack adapter, which comes with 2 40mm bolts, 2 14mm bolts, 1 30mm bolt, 3 lock nuts and 10 washers. Grease this bolt, or if you have an original Bullitt, grease the 30mm bolt, and pass it through a washer, then the rack adapter, then the fender and into the seat stay bridge. Attach a nut if necessary. Lift the fender so it has clearance from the tyre and tighten the bolt to 3 Nm with a torque wrench and 4mm hex key attachment and 10mm spanner if needed. You may need to adjust the legs of the rack using a 3mm hex key and 7mm spanner so that the rack can sit high enough over the fender. Then, remove the bolts from either side of the fender in the dropouts using a 4mm hex key. Take the 2 40mm bolts and grease them. Place a washer on each one, then pass the bolts through the feet of the rack, then through the black spacers. Holding these in place, orientate the rack and place it over the rear wheel. Pass the bolts through the fender struts and into the dropouts, loosely tightening with your hands. Then slowly tighten to 3 Nm with a torque wrench and 4mm hex key attachment, whilst checking for sufficient clearance on the inner side of the dropout. You can add more washers to the bolt if needed. Next, take the rack struts and remove the end caps. Then remove the struts from their brackets. You can now secure the brackets to the front of the rack. Take one of the bolts and grease it with the washer still on, then pass it through the rack from above and into the bracket underneath. Tighten with a torque wrench and 4mm hex key attachment to 3 Nm. You will now need to cut the struts to an appropriate length with a hacksaw. This will depend on which rack you are fitting. For our rack, we recommend the struts to be around 11 cm. We recommend deburring the sawing point afterwards. Now pass the cut struts through the brackets so that the flattened end is close to the seat stay bridge, and replace the end caps. At this point, make sure the rack is horizontally level. Then secure the struts to the adapter with the 2 14mm bolts through a washer and a nut using an 8mm spanner and torque wrench with a T25 Torx key attachment. Tighten to 4 Nm. Then further secure the struts in place at the bracket with a torque wrench and 4mm hex key attachment to 6 Nm. Finally, ensure that every bolt is fully secure and wipe away all excess grease. You have now installed your rear rack.